I'm Zach Dresch.
I'm Ryan Howe.
And you're listening to
The Dresch
Code. Where we talk
Dresch Code.
Dresch Code.
Time to
Dog show.
Dresch.
Dog show. I forgot about
The dog show.
SNL skit from back in the day. Episode 15 of Dresch Code. Very excited. Have a great lineup tonight. The show where we talk about music, comedy, arts, performing, everything in between, everyday topics from this very jar that we pull out randomly.
Good forward to it.
The Jucket, we call it.
It's funny.
Not derogatory.
I'll just way up. I was going to say, I before we started recording here or showing the stream, I asked where the questions come from, and this gentleman says, from the jar. I know, I'm just wondering where they came before the jar.
I didn't know if you'd seen the jar yet. So, you know, sometimes where you just like don't notice the obvious thing in the room.
Yeah. But then I heard sometimes Zach comes up with them, or people send them in, and so that's great. Yeah,
It's a mixture of everything.
yeah.
It's we get a lot of interesting comments and questions, and so we take the best ones, the ones that are applicable to our guests, and we just put them on. And so speaking of guests, let's announce them. From the round table or round couch.
The round couch.
First guest, actor, improvisationalist, ADHD coach with Reset ADHD Alex Hey.
Yeah.
Welcome, extraordinaire. We call everyone extraordinaire.
I know you.
You do.
I've known you for a year. I know this guy.
It's a small world
Yeah,
after all.
Exactly.
Yeah, Gorman. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then you're, our neighbors, the Weises.
Oh, yeah.
And you used to come to the house all the time. I just realized this. I know Alex. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay.
We literally assembled everyone in the room and don't talk.
Oh, okay.
No talking on the podcast.
And now, are you the singer, or is it your brother?
That's my brother.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So he was
then he doesn't know
more
you.
friends with the. No, he was more friends with the Weises than I was.
Okay.
I was just sort of brought along on occasion.
Right. Okay. That's right. That's awesome.
And then meteorologist to the stars, weatherman, Phil Schreck,
How you doing?
extraordinaire. Everyone's extraordinary in this room.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Phil Schreck, how are you, good sir?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for
Glad to
being
be
here.
here. My first podcast ever.
First
So
podcast?
I've listened to a lot of podcasts, but first time I've been on one.
I'm very excited to,
Yeah, it is.
to
For me. Yeah.
break the mold in your first podcast
Yes,
there.
exactly.
And final guest, professor, writer, playwright, poet, Dr. Kevin Cole. I'll just call you Kevin who has the episode. I always formally call you Doctor, but formally I'm just like
Today you were Dr. Kevin.
extraordinaire. How are you, Kevin?
Doing well. Like Phil, this is my first podcast
Yeah.
to listen to and be on.
I'm very excited
So-
to have you both on the show.
Thank you.
So shall we get a crack at the
Let's do it.
box and
Dab in.
box?
forward to it.
The
jar?
box?
So
the box.
So I'm not real familiar with how you do this. So
Yeah, I'll
you're gonna explain. Okay, gotcha.
Basically, Ryan and I will pull topics out of this jar. Price decline 3x3s from Hy-Vee.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. And
Not yet.
we'll read them and decide, do we want to talk about it, yes or no, or pass or fail the Dresch
Are
code?
we gonna do the gladiator thing?
Yeah.
Is
yeah.
it
Yes
so?
or
Is
no.
it majority rules then, or what if?
Yeah, majority.
So if
yeah.
one person says yes, others say no, it's just no. Then.
If
okay.
the majority's like,
Okay.
now we're not feeling it, we'll just
All right.
set it aside for
Okay.
another
We
episode.
encourage peer pressure and any kind of like arm twisting you need to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Shall we get a crack at this
Yeah.
first one? Ryan, be the
I would
start.
like to. Thank you. Oh, this is
This is a
lovely.
great
This is
first.
wholesome. How can we continue to improve the arts community in Sioux Falls?
Yes or no?
Yeah,
I'll talk about
I'm good
it.
with that.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'd say just keep on doing things. That sounds really general. But
Do the things.
Do the things. Do all
Do
the
the good things, but don't do the bad things.
right. But I think just keep striving on your own individuality and getting things started in the arts community and doing as many projects as you can, which I do all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Create things. Put things out there. I have been doing some poetry open mics. The Block Collective does it once a month. They actually have a bookstore now. The Full Book.
Woo! Full Circle Book Club.
That's what it's called. Yeah. So they had their first opening weekend, or their first opening weekend. They're gonna have several opening weekends.
They did, actually.
Really? Okay. Anyway, it was the first time they were able to do a poetry open mic at their own place, so that was
Awesome.
fun. Yeah.
Well, my son Luke is really involved in plays. He loves it. In fact, he gets depressed when he's not involved in a play. So he's involved with DAPA over at the Pavilion.
I did that.
And he's been in plays with at the Orpheum with the Sioux Empire Community Theater. So as far as improving it, I don't know. I guess we just need more people involved. Maybe get more people to. Maybe contribute to places like the Orpheum, and make sure that it stays a nice place, or maybe it gets even better.
I think working on distinct promotion techniques works too. I think
right,
for sure.
Right. Getting the word out in a more efficient manner maybe would help. So
yeah, and a lot of venues keep opening up, which is great. For
right.
it,
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's helping as well.
Could also finally finish refurbishing the State Theater.
Someday.
Yeah, eventually. It's like the
Our
construction in Sioux
children's
City.
children will complete the great work.
Okay, here's a question.
Speaking of Sioux City, just a sidebar. I watched a video on Facebook today. They took a scene from Ace Ventura 2 where he's driving in the depths of like this really intense village, and they said in the caption what it's like to drive in Sioux City.
No, I have to admit, it's getting better when you come back from the south.
Yeah.
But because that was pretty much all done, but going down like from north to south, it's still an adventure on that.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll get that done at some point. So
At some point.
Someday.
yeah.
Maybe Doc Brown will figure it out. What were you gonna say, Alex?
I was just wondering what's going to be finished first. I'm going to go a three-pronged question now. Crazy Horse, the Sioux City construction, or the State Theater?
Oh,
That's a good question. I'm gonna say that Sioux City.
I'd say that too, actually.
Yeah, I think the order would be Sioux City State Theater, Crazy
Crazy
Horse.
Horse. I don't think Crazy Horse will ever.
I'm an underdog. I'll go Crazy Horse.
Well, I've heard that like the blasts they do at Crazy Horse are staged. Like they pile up rocks just so they can blow those rocks away to like
I'd believe it.
do a show.
No.
Conspiracy.
It's a rumor I heard. I forget where I heard it, so.
Alex Jones. Infowars.
Have you seen the video of Marco Rubio talking to him and he's like, "Who are you?" Kept asking him questions at a press scrum. He's like,
Yeah.
"I don't even know who you are."
Yeah.
So one thing Sioux Falls can do, and some organizations are doing it, but to Phil's point about young people, is that we have several really well-established older artists, painters, writers, and I think what we can do is create more venues for younger artists. The Pavilion's a perfect place for that,
Sure.
where we're not seeing. I don't think we're seeing enough younger artists, 20-somethings, especially painters, getting a venue there. There's a lot of really good energy going on with creating an artist district, right? So I know this is one of the things that got me here 20 years ago was the fact that there was a pavilion. That was one thing that made me really interested in staying here.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can. Well, you can criticize it a lot, but I think for a city its size, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
So
I think they should take the technique for stand-up comedy. There's a lot of people that come in and be like, "Hey, I think I want to do a set. I'm not sure," but all of us are like, "Come on, just do it. Just get up there, do your thing, and just watch it grow." Because it's amazing to see people from like their first time on stage till like way later, and it's kind of like that metaphor for like just go up there
Right.
and do it. And
Well, that's in my case. I mean, I have so much respect for stand-up comics because I could never do that. I mean, get up in front of people and just do that, and then if there's just like complete silence, you just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing up here? But it kind of goes back to when I first started doing weather. I mean, I was totally nervous getting up in front of a camera. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And then you just, like I say, you just got to get up and do it, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And so that's kind of how. So I kind of relate to that a little bit. But man, getting up in front of people and doing that's different. Because in front of a camera, you can't see the people. But if you're on a stage, they're right there. So it's a little more personal, I think.
yeah,
it's like
for
teaching sometimes too.
It's like what? Teaching.
crickets.
Oh, yeah.
You're rocking. You're telling jokes. delivering profound insights about life and crickets.
There's a lot of time. They would tell jokes in class, and I would just be laughing hysterically at them.
You're the only one?
You guys not laughing at this? Like, I love the
gold.
Oh, you were that guy, huh?
There was one day where there was something on the syllabus that was, I don't know if it was someone misread it or something. You go, oh, did I write that wrong? Must have been drinking.
So I don't know if you explained this. Maybe you did, but
Close, Kevin.
Kevin, sorry. We just met tonight. That he was you're a professor at USF,
Right, yeah.
right? Did you explain that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I missed that part. I was just sitting right here and I missed it.
And then for my senior project, Ryan, Alex, and Dr. Cole were all involved. We did a couple skits together. We all got involved with that, and so got to do that, and it was a lot of fun.
Is it okay if I take off my vest?
Absolutely. We've had guests leave and go to the bathroom during the show, so we're fine. It's that loose.
That may happen with me with a big cup of tea.
I think for me, it's just the willingness to try new things, go to events that you wouldn't otherwise think about. Because I know, when I first started doing theater beyond USF, I heard about the Mighty Course in Arts players, and I thought, well, that just sounds like this really like podunk, little, cheap amateur theater. I don't want to do that. And then I got involved with that theater community, and they are really raising the bar for professionalism in Sioux Falls theater. So you just kind of have to chuck some of those preconceived notions out of the window. And I'm a little biased, but you kind of have to grow beyond the idea of the only theater in Sioux Falls is Sioux Empire, because there's a lot of great stuff out there, like Monstrous, which I work with, and Goodnight Theater Collective, which just put on an amazing run of the last 5 years. So
My wife and I went to that, or my wife and son went to that today.
Yeah. So I mean, you really have to go out there and be active in searching for entertainment out in Sioux Falls, because it's definitely out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's changed a lot. So I've been here 30 years, man, and it's changed so much in that time, and especially even in the last 10, 15 years, there's so much more to do, whether it's in the arts or just things for young people to do. Where when I first moved here, it's like, man, this place is dead. Almost, there's nothing to do downtown. But boy, it's really changed a lot in the last decade or so, 2 decades, definitely.
For me, I don't know if it was just because I started paying attention more as I graduated high school. Because I stayed in my bubble in high school and I didn't really go out and do much unless it was like Weird Al's Pavilion.
Well, yeah, there's not much for high schoolers to do. The curfew is 11, but everything closes at 10.
Right.
Except for bars, and when you're in high school, you can't go there.
Right. And once you turn 21, that's what you do. Kind of a lot of the time, but now that there's so many places to all ages shows are happening more, which is great. So I think that's definitely a great outlet.
Right.
And so there's more things to do, and I think it just, in my eyes, it started picking up steam more like 5 or 6 years ago, especially with all ages places opening and everything. So, for sure. Should we go to the next topic?
Let's do it.
All right. So we got here. What are things you do when you're nervous, or things you see other comedians or performers do when they're nervous? What are some nervous tics you see in performers? Well, yes, sir. No.
I like it.
I like this one.
I like it.
I'll talk about this one.
Okay.
As a comic, I see a lot of comics hold on to the mic stand when their sets aren't going great, or if they're just kind of, if they're in their head and you can tell they're just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Or as far as comedy, I can tell when that's a nervous tick, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, as far as like when I see someone that's new doing the weather, the rocking back and forth in front of the camera, that it's a real sign that they're nervous. And speaking really fast, and I still to this day speak pretty fast. This is what I do, but some people just speak unnaturally fast when they're nervous. So I'll notice that sometimes. So.
I used to pace way more on stage doing plays or especially stand up. First 2 or 3 years, I was pacing with pacers and just running around. And then Nate Holtz goes, just stand there. That's all you have to do.
Right.
And then that was the eye-opening thing. Like, you don't even have to like move around to prove your point. You can just literally stand there and let your face do the expression. Yeah. And that's what helped me.
But if you do just stand there, don't rock back and forth.
Right.
That's nervous.
If you watch old footage from me from like 3 years ago, don't. You like go home after this. Oh man. You could just see him like, how you guys doing? You guys enjoy it? What's with today, right?
That's not inaccurate.
That's not. You've seen me.
I've seen your early days. Gosh, this sounds terrible. But, like, I don't get nervous on stage, so I'm having trouble. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of it, because I'll get a little nervous before a show, but like once I'm out on stage, I'm good.
Yeah, part of my strategy is to like get to be the character. So like if I think Alex's thoughts, I'm not performing well.
Yeah.
So I try to think like my character. So when I'm immersed in the character, I don't get nervous.
Are you Alex right now?
I,
Sorry, I just watched Split the other night, and I'm a little nervous.
That's funny that you mentioned that because there'll be, when I'm not really used to speaking in front of people because most of my work is done in front of a camera with a few people in the studio. So when I'm in front of an audience of actual people, I get nervous. But what I find is, I actually, when you say, "Are you really Alex right now?" I actually feel like I become somebody else when I decide, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get up on stage. I'm going to do my thing, whatever I have to do, whether it's emceeing or whatever. And I feel like I'm somebody else, and I'm watching myself. Does this sound weird? And then when I'm done, I think, wow, I felt like it didn't feel like me up there. It felt like somebody else. So it's almost like you become somebody else when you're up there. Maybe I'm acting.
I tend to put all of the energy I have on stage, and I'm quiet a lot of the times before or after the show. And so
it's a different personality then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's what it is with me then too. Yeah.
I write plays. I'm not in them very much, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do teach online, and so I have to make videos sometimes, and that's a really sobering experience to watch yourself because I've got this nervous. I don't like doing videos, but you sort of have to do it, and I have this nervous tick. I call it the Bobby De Niro tick. I'll go. And I'll keep remaking the video over and over and over, but I got this. That's what I do on video.
So do you notice? Do you notice like if there's like let's say a new professor or somebody that's just starting? Can you tell if they're nervous or what they might be doing that you can tell if they're nervous or?
All the new ones I know are a lot better than I am. So.
I did theater with a guy in high school who used to fart when he was nervous.
Oh yeah.
So we'd be standing waiting to go on, and this like stench would start to grow.
Seriously?
It's a real thing. It is a real thing.
Okay, but did he make a show of it or like?
No, we would just notice it.
Oh, okay.
The show we were in, there were 3 of us that like spent the entire show together.
Right.
And so like this like every night before the show, the other guy who wasn't the one who farted would just go, "Oh man," and I go, "What are you talking about?" "Oh."
So
he goes, "I can't help it. I fart when I'm nervous."
Okay, so everybody knew it was him. He should just let him. Just make a big deal out of it. Everybody knows it's him anyway. So.
It should be like that French guy in the 1800s that was the professional flatulent or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he like made a living doing that,
Are
like
you
as a
kidding?
stage show. Oh yeah, they have a bunch of Edison wax cylinders of him doing his routine, and it's fucking hilarious.
Wow.
It's just him farting into this Edison recording machine, and then listening to different people. He's doing the fart of, "This is the queen. This is the king. This is a milkmaid." And he made a fortune. He was like the equivalent of like the highest paid actor in France in the like 1850s or something like that. That's crazy.
Aware of that.
man.
Yeah, so this guy is
progressed.
now in med school studying to be a doctor.
Nice.
I think the real answer to the first question, how can we improve the arts community, is get a professional flatulence performance weekly.
There's a guy on I think one of those America's Got Talent shows who like farted for his act.
Wait, they're good?
Yeah, what's the name of his? Oh, he had a Mr. Methane. I think it was a British version.
Oh no.
Methane.
Methane,
Oh,
yeah.
That's classic.
He like drank this stuff right as he walked out on stage. It was like, yeah. And he like did it to like a classical piece of music too.
Was it in front of Howie Mandel?
I think it was a British one.
Oh, okay. Because I
My
know
daughter-
Howie's a germaphobe, so you wouldn't like that.
I was just gonna say my daughter Samantha was in competitive cheerleading when she was growing up.
I was gonna say competitive farting.
No, but she one of her teammates before every performance would barf. So that was her way of dealing with the nervousness. So
I one time puked on opening night of a show. My director after the show was like, "Gee, were you nervous?" And this is like my final show with him, so he directed me in several plays to that point. And I was like, "How long have I been doing this?" And he was like, "Calm down, Alex, you're just joking."
You were just sick.
Yeah, I was just sick. Yeah.
The flu.
I remember judging Orland Turp a lot, and the ums with like new public speakers. And then I did it for the first 2 years of the podcast. It wasn't because Mrs. Jensen had whipped that out of me in Orland Turp. So it was like. So like I'd be doing an interview and I'm like, so like and I even just organically did it right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a crutch. But Mrs. Jensen would actually like keep a tally on the sheet, and there was one guy in the class that was so sad because he would like have 60 and it became a running thing. The whole class was tracking how many he had. I was like,
That's brutal.
yeah.
One teacher in high school used to say, "Are you with me here?" every 2 minutes. And there'd be class periods where I just tally and then like show my classmates as the class was like 7 today.
Is that back at O'Gorman?
Gorman. Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Is that person still there? Is that teacher
I
still
don't
there?
know.
What subject?
Physical science.
Ooh. Oh. I never didn't take that one, so.
Roland Wingert says that he threw up once during a wrestling match on the guy he was wrestling. He still won.
I thought you had
Wrestling
a
is a
tactical
weird
advantage.
sport.
Yeah.
I did it for 3 years.
You know, there was a news story back, I don't know, a few years ago where, you know, there was this wrestler, wasn't he accused of something, and then I heard of this move called the butt drag that wrestlers use,
I've not heard of that one.
where they, as you're wrestling, they actually,
Pick you up by the buttocks.
yeah, and whatever. I mean, it's. But apparently it wasn't. I mean, that's not why he was accused of whatever. But it's an actual move that wrestlers do, where they insert their finger and then they move their opponent in such a way.
Oh
that,
no!
But anyway, I don't know why I brought that up, but the wrestling thing.
Next topic.
Yes.
Right. So moving on.
Dude, bail.
I mean, but they talked about it on the news.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
What biopic films would you like to see, and who would you like to see portray them?
Ooh. I'll talk about that one.
Yeah,
I'll talk
I'll
about
go
that.
I just went.
Fitting because of Bohemian Rhapsody.
I just
came
saw
out.
that. Did you
How
like?
was? I haven't seen it yet.
It was pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I know there was I think there was kind of a maybe not really a backlash, but you know, the gay community was a little upset that it didn't focus more on, you know, his relationship with men and that. But I thought it did. You know,
I heard it was a good balance between
Yeah,
music
yeah.
and personal life kind
right.
of thing.
And I enjoyed it. I and especially the whole part where they did the Live Aid thing, the way they recreated that was so good.
No.
But now, who would I like to see in
Yeah.
the movie?
I want to see a Paul Rubens biopic.
Who would play
Pee Wee
Paul
Herman.
My instinct is to go Tom Hanks, but
I
he
would
might
say-
be too old for the role.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd say Taron Killam from SNL.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
What about John Mulaney?
Oh, I'd see that. I think John Mulaney should play Ed Grimley.
Not Martin Short, just Ed Grimley.
No,
Yeah.
just Ed Grimley.
We're talking about real people, right? You
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, that's a good one.
See, I'll bring this conversation down real quick because I'll like Charlotte Bronte or Emily Dickinson or
Oh, yeah.
Charles Dickens.
Emily Dickinson would be great, though. That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
Drew
Production
Barry-
costs
Drew
will be low
Barrymore.
when she never leaves the house.
yeah. That's right.
Helen Keller. Okay.
Keller, the musical.
Daniel Day-Lewis, but Daniel Day-Lewis plays Daniel Day-Lewis.
I would
Yes.
see
That would be crazy. Because like he doesn't break character.
that. Trying to think who else would be like a figure that has never been covered in a film necessarily. Ted Bundy played by Al Bundy.
A Ted Bundy film actually would
Happened.
do well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't I feel like they did one?
I think so.
It's probably a Lifetime movie or
sure,
something.
right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's been done.
Yeah.
But if you were to cast Ted Bundy, who would you go with?
Oh.
'Cause you-
Daniel Day-Lewis.
See, it's got. I think you got to go with like like a heartthrob guy, like someone like because he's
Like Chris
he's very-
Hemsworth or something like
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
very charismatic.
Yep.
Chris Pine,
Ooh.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Because he can pull Psycho.
Yeah.
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 He can do it.
Chris
Or
Pine,
the
that's
guy
actually
who
really good.
the guy who played the Polish mobster. He had this life as a serial killer, but he had a life in the burbs. He had a wife, kids, and he's in his 30s.
I'm trying to think.
And he'd be perfect for the Ted Bundy part. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I told you I was going to bring down this conversation.
Christoph Waltz.
He might be a bit old.
Yeah, might be a bit old. Yeah.
So they did do one in 2002.
On Ted Bundy?
Yeah.
Who played him?
Michael Riley Burke.
Never heard of him.
He played-
Show me a picture.
Yeah, he looks like that now.
Yeah.
Let's see what he looked like, over a decade ago. but
Show me it.
He,
Actually, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
This is great radio.
So Ted Bundy killed a lot of people, but he also killed the guy's career, apparently.
Yeah.
he played Rex
You
Vandekamp
could
on the
use that.
unaired pilot. On the unaired pilot of Desperate Housewives, but then Stephen Culp replaced him before the pilot aired. Oh. So yeah, it killed his career.
But maybe I should have did thumbs down because I can't think of anybody. Biopic I'd like to do.
I think of rock stars, it might be easier to figure out like what actors could play rock stars. That might be an easier way to figure out.
Paul Shipper would like to see an Oprah biopic.
Who would play Oprah?
Viola Davis.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
immediately
that's
in my mind.
Clearly,
Leslie Jones.
I would be fine if Leslie Jones never did anything else in Hollywood ever again.
I speaking of, I like Leslie Jones, but it's just like just one.
It's a one note.
Yeah,
thing.
it's a one thing, and it's just like
I don't doubt that she has range beyond that. It's just unfortunate that that is the type that she's been cast in time and time and time again.
Yeah, I think a lot of the SNL cast members have like one thing that they just milk over and over again.
Yeah.
Like Pete Davidson's the stoner that doesn't care.
Jay Farrow was like that too.
Yeah.
I think that's why he was not on for very long.
Yeah.
All he did was impressions.
he was good as Obama.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Bobby Moynihan just looking bewildered.
yeah. But whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. Like a lot of them. I think the people that have the most range on that show are like Cecily Strong and a couple other people too. Kay McKinnon.
It's happening already, but have you seen the promotional material for Vice? Christian Bale as Dick Cheney.
Oh yes.
Really?
It is unbelievable, the transformation. I mean,
Right.
Christian Bale puts himself through.
Yeah, he almost
crazy-
played George W. Bush once.
Really?
But when they were doing the makeup test and everything like that, he was like, "This isn't where it needs to be. I'm done." Like he didn't go through with it because he's so into his roles.
Right.
Like, who was playing George Bush in that movie? Is it Sam? He won the Academy Award for the 3 Billboards. Outside
Sam Rockwell?
Yeah, isn't he playing? Doesn't he play Bush in that?
He
movie?
might be. I haven't
That
seen
Vice
this.
movie?
I remember
Because Josh Brolin played W.
Yes, in
10
the-
years
Yeah,
ago.
that was
Yeah,
that was the
one
film
thing.
Christian
Okay.
Bale was going to be in.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
It would have been really weird with him in there.
I don't know. I
Not
would.
bad. I'm just
No,
like
yeah.
it'd be a very different movie than it came out as.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies that Christian Bale proved me wrong, where I'm like, oh, I don't know if you can pull this off. Like, oh,
That's
like
true.
American Hustle. Like,
I like that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I like that movie.
That was
Yeah, Sam Rockwell's George W. Bush.
Wow.
Steve Carell is Donald Rumsfeld.
Wow.
Oh my.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't doubt his dramatic chops, but I just don't see him in that role.
He doesn't.
Well, if they can change Christian Bale to look like Cheney, they could probably make Corral look like Rumsfeld.
Yeah. Trying to think if they made like a Rolling Stones biopic, like who would play Keith Richards? Like
Just find the most disgusting looking person.
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Johnny Depp would
Yeah.
have to, because like that's what he did for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right. Oh, just emulated
yeah.
Keith Richards. Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Which they are trying to reboot now without Johnny Depp.
Really?
Good
Yeah.
luck with that.
Was that because of all the accusations against him with like
I have no
abuse
idea.
with his girlfriend?
Well,
or
see, what
something?
happens is Pirates 4 came out, and Johnny Depp tweeted, "This is the last Pirates I'll do." Then Pirates 5 came out.
And then,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he kept saying it's the last one. It's
Right.
the last one. And he kept doing more. Probably the money offers were too good. That's
Yep.
my guess.
Yeah.
I think I fell asleep in Pirates 4. Believe it or not, there was that one scene where he thought he was dead, and he was walking in this desert area for the longest time. Was that Pirate 4?
That was 3.
That was 3? Okay, so I fell
Yeah,
asleep
that's
on
the
that
one that kicked me off the series too. I
Yeah,
was just like,
it
it
was
was
like-
too. I didn't know what they were going for,
Yeah.
and it was weird, and not in a good way because I like weird. But yeah,
I liked 4 a lot. I think of my
'Cause it got rid
sequels,
of
it was my favorite.
The rest of the cast. It just
Pretty
kinda
much,
gave you
yeah.
kind of a fresh story.
Because the Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom storyline got old for me.
Well, going back to Johnny Depp, now, I like him as an actor, but he's had a bad streak of movies, don't you think?
Lately,
and then he's
yeah.
going to be in this new, what's the one with, it's kind of the Harry Potter spin-off thing?
Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, he's in, so he was
Crimes
the
of
very
Grindelwald.
end of the first one, and now he plays a big role. So I hope for his sake it does well. But
There's a dark horse in his filmography. I liked the Dark Shadows movie that came
I did
out.
too.
But I liked the soap opera style of the 60s because I used to watch the reruns on Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
And it's just such a campy, like
Well,
cheesy, and I
but
think
back
they
in the-
tried to embrace
yeah.
it, but
back in the day, that I used to watch that show when it was on, because I'm that old. But it was that show scared the living heck out
yeah,
of me.
Barnabas
it really
Collins,
did.
like one
Yeah.
of the best characters. Like, yeah.
And as cheesy as it is now, but when you're like 8, 9 years old watching that show, it was scary because there wasn't anything else like that, going on at that time.
I still love watching shows from the 80s and 90s, even as cheesy as they are. I've just been like, oh, even though it's not like sophisticated writing, it's still entertaining to watch. Like
Sure.
Saved by the Bell. Or
Well, yeah, and a lot of programming nowadays just takes itself way too seriously, and there's not that element of like fun and crazy and suspension of disbelief.
and if it is something like that, it's trashed in the press. or
Right.
say this is the worst thing. Like Adam Sandler just put out a new Santa special, which I think is fantastic, but it's been torn apart because Adam Sandler has obviously not had a lucky streak of films in a long time, so people are just bound to like trash it and just
What's that? What platform is that on? Where can we find
Netflix.
it? Oh, okay.
yeah, and it's great. It's back to basics, just jokes and music on stage, and that's it.
I'm just gonna take my shoes off because everybody else has theirs off. My shoe came undone anyway, so.
Conformity, yay!
Paul Schiffer, they already kind of did L. Ron Hubbard with the Master movie. I think it's kind of. I mean, it wasn't
Oh, is that who-
explicitly him, but yeah, Paul Schiffer on Facebook here is saying L. Ron Hubbard would be a good one to do a biopic.
I'd see an Adam Sandler biopic with Jimmy Fallon playing Adam Sandler.
Yes.
How you doing?
I liked it when this might be off topic, but I liked it when Dana Carvey in his SNL audition made fun of Dennis Miller, did an impression
Oh,
of
yeah.
him while Dennis Miller was in the room.
Bold.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great, kid. Make fun of a legend.
alright, whatever. Next topic.
Yeah.
Did you say this last one?
I got that one, yeah.
Okay.
It's your turn.
All right. What is the most unpopular opinion that you hold? Yes or no? No.
I know what this is. I already know what
daylight.
this is.
Should we talk about daylight savings for this one? Yes or no for that?
Oh, we're
Well,
talking about
Daylight
this.
savings
We're
time is
talking
not
about this.
popular.
We're talking
Yeah.
about this.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses is not a good band.
I think I can only name one Guns N' Roses song.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, that one.
Sweet Child of Mine.
Sweet Child of Mine.
That's my favorite.
I've heard
Sweet
of
Child
it,
of
but-
Mine, yeah.
I've heard of the song. I haven't actually heard it.
I don't mind November Rain.
Yeah, I don't mind. See, for me, I like the first Guns N' Roses album, and after that, they lost.
Was
me.
November Rain on the first one?
No, it was on
Oh,
the second one. That was the one big hit.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
second album.
okay. I liked the Mamma Mia movie.
With
I did
Meryl
too.
Streep.
Yeah.
I did too,
Oh.
yeah. I loved
Oh,
it.
that's not a Well, it made the first one made like $600 million, which I couldn't believe.
No.
I mean, the singing was atrocious. Especially the guys, like Colin Firth and the guy that played the Bond. Who's the guy that played?
Oh, Pierce Brosnan.
He was what do you think of his singing?
It was okay. What really makes me disappointed is...
But I liked the movie as a whole.
Yeah. What really makes me mad is they were going to cast Harry Connick Jr.
Oh.
in that role, but they didn't think he looked old enough to play opposite Meryl Streep.
Yeah, you kind of got to have a point there.
But yeah, Harry Connick Jr. would have killed it.
Yeah, but maybe they didn't want him to plus he would have overshadowed everybody else.
Yeah.
That guy can really sing, and the rest of them couldn't. So
I remember I used to have unpopular opinions as a kid, then looking back, they were stupid opinions. Like, I would go see sequels to movies I loved and say, oh, this sequel's better than the original. And then looking back in retrospect, I'm like, I saw Dumb and Dumber in the theater. 15 years ago. I'm like, oh, this movie's amazing.
The second one?
Yeah, like the prequel. The prequel without Jim Carrey. Without Jim Carrey.
Oh, God, Zach.
There's only one great scene in that movie, and that's when the young Harry accidentally, he has a Hershey's bar in his pocket, and he's sitting on a heater, and it accidentally rubs in his, so he's like trying to change his pants, and he accidentally gets the chocolate all over the wall. And Bob Saget is the daughter that he's seeing, it's his dad, and so he comes up to the bathroom and just looks at the chocolate all over the bathroom. He goes, "There's shit everywhere." For like a minute.
You can't lose with bathroom humor.
No.
Ever.
Sometimes you can. Trying to think of other unpopular opinions that I would hold.
I liked Batman vs Superman and Justice League.
Justice League, I went in with really low expectations, and I really enjoyed it.
That's what I need to do. I haven't watched it yet, just because I didn't know if I wanted to spend 2 or 2.5 hours of my life if it wasn't any good. Batman versus Superman, I would say I was disappointed in it. I didn't hate it, but it just didn't match up with some of the other, the Batman movies. Or
See, that's the thing. It's a different take on it. Like, you have to...
I like the Superman movie. I like the Superman movie, Man of Steel.
And now it's irrelevant because they're like jump starting the universe again. Like they're making another. Affleck's out.
So what were you saying? It was a different take. How?
It's a different take. It's a darker, grittier version, and it's also like Batman after he's been beaten down after years. Like there's a scene in the Batcave where he's walking by a Robin costume.
Yeah.
And like that's Jason Todd. Like that's the Robin that got killed. And so like he's been worn down. He's
okay.
Yeah,
and like
it's supposed to be channeling the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns, where it's an old, borderline should be retired Batman, but he refuses to give up kind of thing.
Yeah, and then like you kind of see in Justice League how he's starting to like lighten up again, and so like I kind of wish we'd gotten to see that character arc over several movies, and people are like, "Oh, he's terrible in this movie." It's like, okay, yeah, but like look for the growth and.
This is an unpopular opinion. My favorite Bat movie is Bat Thumb. They did Thumb movies with thumbs as humans. Steve Oedekerk directed all these.
I've heard of
Bat Thumb.
Going off of that, I think Son of the Mask is an enjoyable movie.
Never saw it.
I love The Mask.
Jamie Kennedy's in that, right?
Yes. It is critically panned as like one of the worst
Aren't they
movies.
making another one?
What?
With Jim Carrey?
No, just a Mask film. I think I saw it as a preview. Where did I see that?
I don't.
Like a new one coming?
Yeah.
Oh.
Google that because like.
Does the unpopular
It's like
opinion
Revenge of the
have to be
Mask?
about a movie?
No.
Oh, okay.
Anything.
We're all just very trapped in pop culture.
Do you have something?
I think so.
Okay.
Ooh.
Go for it.
I'd much rather listen to classical music than watch movies these days.
Interesting.
What kind of classic music?
Any kind. It's my age.
Well, also.
I'm checked out of this conversation because I also have 3 kids, 12, 10, and 7.
Well, let me ask you how.
So my movie repertoire is decidedly skews that way.
Do you mind saying how old
Like
you are?
Frozen,
Because I might be older than you,
Burning
and I just have a. You're what?
I'm 50. I
I'm
turned 50 in
58.
July.
I'm 58.
Really?
And so I just have just this. I still feel like a kid. Maybe that's the problem. My growth, my mental growth has stopped at the age of 18 or something. So
I'm impressed by your knowledge of popular culture. And
oh yeah,
movies.
I mean I love music. I love movies. I love TV. I have a lot of free time. Well,
You're that KSFY, give him more work.
no, I'm talking about after
camera.
Here's what I do. In the mornings, my wife is a teacher. My 3 oldest kids are either out of college or in college, and I have 2 at home. They're out of the house by... I take them to school. They go to Edison. I take them to school. And so by 9 o'clock, I got the whole day pretty much to myself before I go to work.
Okay.
So I can go back home and read or watch movies. Or at night when I come home, at 11 o'clock at night, everybody's in bed. So I can watch the movies that I want to watch. And that's how I keep up with all this stuff. And so that's how I am able to keep up with all this pop culture things. And I've always been, growing up, I just loved, I just devoured like, rock and roll and movies and just everything. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Skylar Bulk says the guy in red is about to go Super Saiyan.
But which one?
Is it about to go what?
Super Saiyan. That's a deep cut cultural reference.
Oh.
Not really.
It's Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
He won't know
but
Dragon
it's
Ball Z.
One of my kids
Dragon Ball
does.
Z,
One of my kids does.
It's growing in popularity again because of Dragon Ball Super, and for the first time, there's going to be Okay, this
sorry. No, keep going.
Thanks, Zach, for making me feel insecure about my
Ryan.
hobbies.
Sorry, Ryan, keep going.
No, for the first time ever, there's going to be a Goku balloon for the Macy's Day Parade.
Nice.
Yeah,
see that ever.
They've arrived.
Massive.
They've
thing,
arrived.
finally after 30 years.
So what does that mean, by the way? What does
I
that
don't
mean?
know.
It's about to go all what?
Super Saiyan.
Which means what?
So it means like in anime when they get like their final massive superpower and there's like energy flying out of them and stuff like that.
And that's probably me when you start talking about Batman.
No, I bet that is.
And yes, and Ben Affleck, I wouldn't say he's the best Batman. He's a darn good Batman. My favorite Batman is Kevin Conroy from Batman the Animated.
He's the one true
voice.
Batman.
He is the voice, yeah.
Didn't Mark Hamill do voices of?
Yeah,
he was the Joker.
He's the Joker
yeah,
against Kevin Conroy,
Yeah.
and that's why it's so fucking good.
Oh, okay.
And they have a wonderful bromance.
Yes.
Mark Hamill's kind of unanimously praised as like the best
Really?
Joker.
Wow.
Yeah,
across
so
the
he
board.
so he doesn't sound like. I mean, does he sound like the Joker? He must.
He
change his voice.
embodies this unique.
Oh.
Oh yeah. They were one time recording in a studio with all the characters together, and everyone was sitting down, but Mark Hamill had to stand up to do his performance.
Wow. Just
I
He's
imagine-
just so like.
It's weird because his Joker voice does not sound that much like his regular voice. So when he does it, when you see it on camera, it's always like, whoa!
Speaking of Mark Hamill, is it unpopular to say I didn't really like the second, the movie? What was the most
The most recent Star Wars, The Last
Jedi.
Yeah,
That's a pretty common
It's
opinion.
getting mixed reviews, so
Yeah.
it's like 50-50. Some people liked it, some
Yeah.
people didn't like it.
I loved Rogue One. I really did. I loved The Force Awakens, but the Last Jedi wasn't.
I've only seen like the prequel trilogy of the Star Wars films. So I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, so yeah.
Okay, that's Star Trek, right?
I have a
Trek,
music
yeah.
opinion that's not popular.
Scared.
I don't like Ed Sheeran. I just don't care
That's
for it.
fine.
Not anymore. Like when Ed Sheeran started out, I liked his stuff.
I much prefer his acoustic
Yeah.
stuff, where it's like Ed Sheeran and like the songs that you can tell he actually spent some time writing, and just the stuff they play, the stuff that makes the hits is just not good at all.
Well,
See, I really liked him for a while, and then I was dating a girl who also really liked him. Then she dumped me, and now like Ed Sheeran reminds me of that, and so I don't listen.
It's
to
like
him.
me in the Minnesota Wild.
I should be
never
like that
Ed
with
Sheeran
John
is?
Bellion, but it's just
Yeah.
my love is too strong.
My daughter listens to him.
Last night,
You're not
CJ
still bitter, are you?
I was actually dumped on Wednesday, so like I have a new heartbreak to.
I feel that.
So I was DJing a reception last night, and they're like, "Can you play something slow like an Ed?" Because I was doing his slow dance portion. Can you play like Ed Sheeran or something like that? And so I didn't. I decided to go with Lone Star Maze because that one's a common one, and then I threw in a rarity more. "I'll Be" by Edwin McCain,
yeah. That's
which
good.
I think is about slow dance.
So you were DJing.
Yeah,
So the person that asked you that is
not
she
the bride or groom.
Okay,
it
then
was just a
that doesn't
random
matter.
person.
So if it's a bride, yes, you probably would.
Yeah, if it
she's
was that,
paying you.
totally.
Yes, okay.
But not just a.
Yeah.
She didn't say it had to be Ed Sheeran. It was just more just because I was thinking like, okay,
Like Ed Sheeran, but good.
So did you say like right away no, or just say okay?
I said sure, I'll
see
look
what
at
I
it.
can
I'll
do?
look into it. I said that.
Yes.
Yeah, like a very common.
Yep.
Like, I'll see what I can do, and because I know they would probably want like thinking out loud or something like that. But I'm like, you know what? That's overdone. I like to balance it. Like I like to throw in a curveball. Like, oh, Edwin McCain. Like
That's back from back in the 90s.
late
right?
90s. Yeah. I feel like that was the slow dance song back then, probably at least for 2 months.
I was 6 in 1999, so I don't know the slow dance numbers from the late 90s. So
I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith was probably one of them.
Oh, it was a wonderful time. The Matrix was blowing my mind. And there was a Clinton in the White House.
I don't want to miss a thing. There's also in the Armageddon movie, right?
Yeah. That's the one thing people remember about that
How about
film.
that movie? I like that movie.
Yeah.
It was all right.
That's another
Michael
thing.
Bay hadn't sold his soul yet.
Did he do that one?
You haven't ruined the Transformers.
Yeah.
Or the Ninja Turtles.
You mean the toys?
The toys.
Another unpopular opinion I have, I hate the movie Avatar. Hate it. With the blue people and all that. I just
Well, get ready, because the's like 4 more coming.
Great, I'm not going to say
Zach
anything.
Dresch on the record hates the blue people. So
You're blue people racist.
yep.
Yeah. No.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything else really that.
I think that's all I can relate.
Yeah. Next topic.
Yeah, next one.
Okay.
So only you two guys get to pull questions.
Yeah.
Is that the way it works?
Unless you would like to do one. If you guys want to, that'd be kind of a...
We've never done it before.
Yeah.
We just like
First
having
time.
the power, you know.
Yeah.
It's a trip. If you could be a contestant on any game show, which one would you be on?
Yes or no?
I would say yes in the condition like it's quickfire.
Yes.
Quickfire? Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Jeopardy.
Oh, yes, without a doubt.
I was like, oh, so we're doing quickfire. I can't.
Match game.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
Good.
The weakest link. Because I love that host.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who was that? Was a long time ago.
This redheaded angry British one. It's just
That show didn't last that long, did it? It became very popular. It seemed like, and then it just kind of fell off face of the earth.
Which one?
the weakest link.
It was huge in England, and then
They brought it to America for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Then there was a guy who took over for that Anne what's her face.
Oh yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's like some random guy. Was it like?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
I feel like it was like
wouldn't know
Howie
his name.
Long. Like remember those phone commercials?
It was
with, like,
not Howie Long.
and Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
I can't for the life of me remember it, but I remember watching it last year when I was home. But you'd have 2 people. I was like, one would be like basically they just put 2 smart people against each other, and then you'd have to like go through and list all these different. Yeah, you know what I'm talking.
It wasn't Grand Slam, was it?
No, but it's like if you messed up, then the other person would like have a chance to answer, and if they got it right, then they took your position, and then you like left with a certain amount of money.
It's not the chase.
No, gosh, I don't know.
Okay.
It was like but it was a limited run. They only did it for like a month.
Yeah, because
or
wasn't it something they did with like a bunch of successful game show contestants?
Kind of. Or they just had like smart people on there. Like, I'm a professor of astrology for Concordia
the
University
astronomy.
or something.
That's
What?
to tell
It would be
truth.
professor of astronomy.
Well, no,
The professor of astrology would be like, here's how to like make up crap for horoscopes.
exactly. That's why they're a professor. They're esteemed. That's why we need to do improv again.
Was it called To Tell the Truth? No.
No. Anyway.
I do Deal No Deal.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was. I liked that show.
That was
Yeah.
one that I could watch and kind of play along with, and I was like, I could actually like make money, playing this. Whereas other shows, I'm just kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? They'd kill me with a sports question early on. They'd just knock me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I could make money on that one.
You probably remember Let's Make a Deal with Marty. What was his name? The who was the host?
I'll have to go retro in this
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Definitely. I remember vaguely Let's Make a Deal
Yeah.
with the really loud jackets
Yes.
and the people who dress up, right?
Yeah. Which they brought back with Wayne Brady.
Oh right, yes, they
But
did.
I'm trying to think of the original host of that show.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the game
Monty Hall.
show that
Monty Hall. That's
Yes!
the one.
Monty Hall.
There you go.
Yeah.
That I literally quote every day. I'm always saying, "Big money, no whammies." Big money, no
yes.
whammies.
Yes.
So that would be press your luck.
Yeah.
That's right.
I distinctly remember it being Monty Hall because there's an episode of Friends where Chandler is in London at Monty Hall at a reception. He goes, "Can't believe I'm here with Monty Hall." And no one's laughing at all. He goes, "Come on, Monty Hall, let's make a deal. What's wrong with you people?" He goes, "Fine, congratulations on someone."
Erica would be on The Bachelorette. Let's see.
Hi, Erica.
Oh, hey, red sweater. He seems witty and he's not bad looking.
All would do Hollywood Squares.
Oh, that was a good show.
Turtleneck.
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 All right, this has gotten. They're discussing me right now.
Do you have a job? Do you have a job?
I do have a job. I am an ADHD coach with Reset ADHD. If you want to,
We'll use shameless plugs at the end.
okay. I'll shamelessly
Yes.
plug myself later. And it's a quarter zip, not a turtleneck.
Learn your men's fashion.
Hi, Erica. She just keeps saying hi.
This is weird.
What is
question?
it like to have women just throwing themselves at your feet?
Yeah, no kidding.
It's not been my experience though.
Did anyone not say game show? Did we all say ours?
Did you say a game? Yeah, you said.
He said let's make a
I,
table.
Yeah. Okay.
I rode on Phil's coattails.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Favorite out of town venue? That's more of a musician's. I don't know.
Nah.
Yeah, pass
Nah.
it. Fail that one.
Fail it.
Good.
You know who?
We're at least a little bit discriminating.
Yeah.
What's one fad or pastime that came back that you wish did not come back?
Jenko. Oh.
I can't think of one.
I can't really think of one.
Yeah, fail.
I can think of things I want to come back. In the 90s, I had a sleeveless T-shirt with a hood. It had a dragon
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
I remember those.
I would want one of those again.
Yeah.
If I could find it, it would probably be too small.
Make
So I'd
it.
have to like have a new one. You know.
Start your
Yeah.
own clothing line.
Oh, this is fitting. Best interpretation of the Joker and worst.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll talk about that
I'm good.
quick. Heath Ledger for me, but that's the.
You're wrong. The correct answer is Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Well, yes.
Okay, this could take different.
You want to go live action?
Live action.
I'm already saying Joaquin Phoenix is going to be my favorite.
He's going to be the best or the worst.
Best.
That's
He's-
probably my.
He's going to be the best.
Does anybody like Jack Nicholson or not? 'Cause-
Jack Nicholson was very good,
He was
and
the
then
first
Heath
one.
Ledger came along. and
Well,
everyone
right,
was
right.
He was very good for that style of film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like you have to do it differently each time,
Right.
otherwise you're just cloning somebody.
Yeah.
And so I like how Jared Leto did something different. Like, let's give him credit for doing that. I don't think it was the best. I don't think it was the worst. Well,
And speaking of that,
there haven't been really any clunkers in live action. Like even Cesar Romero was good. So.
Yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, maybe this goes back to the unpopular opinion, but I didn't mind Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Okay. So I think everyone in the film performed wonderfully. Except the guy writing it didn't know the characters and he didn't know plot structure. It was exposition, a fight scene, and then the movie was over.
Yeah.
Well, they got what was the story was they got halfway through it and then threw out a bunch of the filmmakers and then brought on board the people that made the trailer, and that's why it was so heavy on like rock music and like graphics flying in and stuff, because it was literally like a guy who makes trailers made it.
And like Jared Leto is like extremely hurt by how much of his work was cut from the film.
Yeah.
No.
And like
Especially
they didn't
for that level of transformation and then just be like barely a cameo.
Yeah.
It was
That
one of
was
those films. I think they tried really hard to make it like a blockbuster, huge film with like everything fired on all cylinders. The soundtrack, acting, all-star cast. I think they wanted that kind of vibe and just didn't quite. I enjoyed it, but it's a great popcorn film.
Yeah,
the
I
other
would say
thing
that,
they
yeah.
needed to do with Suicide Squad is they needed to introduce all of those characters in different movies and then bring them in.
Yeah.
Which is why I was really excited for the end credit scene of Justice League, because it set up a fantastic second film that's never going to happen.
Right?
What was
I went
haven't
nuts
seen
in
it
the theater when that happened.
I was
Who was
excited.
that?
So the end spoiler for all of you that haven't seen.
Well, it's been
Justice
out.
League.
How long has it been out?
So
A year or two,
the end
yeah.
sequence shows Lex Luthor bring on Deathstroke onto his private yacht, private ship or whatnot, setting up the Injustice League, which is another separate League of Villains type of thing. So I was really excited for Justice League, League of Injustice, or like some crazy weird title like that. But it was.
But it sounds like Deathstroke might get his own movie.
Who's that? Who plays him?
Oh.
Who's in the trailer?
I can't remember his name. He's married to that Sofia Vergara.
There's basically a meat market on this episode. What the hell?
Listen to Red Sweater Wax philosophic on the Dark Knight's Road Gallery.
Mysterious.
Who's gonna get the rose? I mean, I know Zach, but Red Sweater is so mysterious. Next time on The Bachelor.
I feel like this has to be like, oh, Okay.
So, how does
red, my shirt or my face?
How does Joaquin Phoenix come into this whole thing? What is
Joaquin-
Oh,
they're
I've
making-
heard
They're
that.
making a Joker film.
Yeah,
Like, just Joker.
How the hell is that going to work, though? A standalone?
I think it's supposed to be an origin story.
Yes.
Still.
He looks like Heath Ledger's Joker and Jack Nicholson's Joker had a baby.
But like Joaquin Phoenix is going to go so crazy in depth with it, and I feel like what they've shown.
Have you seen that little like makeup test?
Yes!
Oh, that was so
It
brilliant.
looks so good.
Because like,
But and see the reason because of that, I think they're gonna go like Killing Joke, like the backstory of the Killing Joke, and make that into a live action.
Slade Wilson
Okay,
is
yes.
like the character's real name. We're looking for the actor.
I will do it.
Shouting at the TV screen like
I am
he's
the,
in the screen.
I am the Googler.
What were we talking about? Oh yes. Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
So like that makeup test, they show him laughing, and then it switches to him as a Joker laughing even harder, and then right before the camera shuts off, he gets like this serious expression on his face. And it's just
Joe Manganiello.
good. Yeah, that guy.
Oh, isn't he the guy that used to be in True Blood, played the werewolf dude? Isn't that the big bull?
Yeah, I think so.
The face.
And he was also in Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Only you would make that reference.
And he becomes best friends with Pee-wee. It's a real plot.
Wow.
And he's like, come to New York with me. And Pee-wee's like, I can't make it. It's going to be a trip.
Can we
And this whole thing. And then they cut to Joe in New York at a party for his birthday. And Joe is sitting there like, wish Pee-wee was here.
Sidebar.
Yeah.
Paul Rubens does not get enough credit for being a really good serious actor.
Yeah.
Did you see him in the movie? What was it back in
Blow?
the '90s? No, it was like a parody of superhero movies, and he played a guy. You were talking about
Mystery Men.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
I saw it in the
movie.
theater.
And his thing was farting, right?
Mr. Fletch.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
And I liked that movie.
And every
That
time
was-
before he goes, excuse me.
Yes, that's the one. Yes. Mystery Men.
That was a great movie.
It was.
I own the soundtrack, I own the DVD.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ben Stiller played Mr. Furious, which was not a character stretch. He would just get angry. I think they probably
Nice.
just
Well, what's the question anyway we were just on?
best interpretation of the Joker.
Oh, gotcha.
well, hang on a sec. Wasn't there a
Worst.
part 2? Worst? We haven't discussed
Oh.
that.
If you had to rank it.
I would say worst for me would be the guy who did the Joker in the animated series The Batman.
Which one was that?
That's the one that follows the Kevin Conroy era when it's like a different producer, different voice actors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they drew. Isn't that the one where they drew the Joker like with really big shoulders
And
super
dreadlocks?
big weird face? That one. Yeah, that one sucked.
Oh no, because that was yes, no, I know what you're talking about now because that was the one that was Batman vs Dracula too.
Yeah, that one.
Also, yes, there
Also,
is-
really strange but good movie.
I know I've looked everywhere to try and find it, but
I have it.
Okay, movie night.
Worst Joker, Steve Miller Band. Just kidding. He's a midnight toker. He's not getting anything done.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I thought the lyric was midnight talker, as in you have conversations at midnight. This is
Midnight talker.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I'm like, it's cool.
And is
dude.
that the song where he talks about the pompatus of love?
Yeah.
And nobody, it's just a made-up word. It's just a make-up word, doesn't mean anything. Okay. Pompatus.
I'm a joker. I'm a smoker. Midnight talker. Next topic.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I like Lego Joker.
Who was Lego Joker?
Can't remember who.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, was it?
Oh, in the Batman Lego movie?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the guy. I think it is.
Michael. No, that's Batman.
Was it the guy who did the Joker in Arkham Origins?
Because I was wondering about Arkham Origins because that one was not Mark Hamill.
That was not Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
but
well,
that guy
all
was
of that-
actually kind of good.
All of that was kind of weird though.
Yeah, the guy who
Okay.
did Batman was terrible.
It was a glitchy mess. Is my problem with it.
I was Arkham Origins is the only time I've ever sweated while playing a video game.
That's a weird
Zach
fact.
Galifianakis was the Joker in.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
that's
hadn't
why.
heard that one.
Wow.
I don't like the Lego movies. Unpopular opinion.
Well, I liked Lego Batman and I liked The first one.
I like the first one. I took my kids to that one.
Spaceship. What movies took you a long time to appreciate?
Phantom of the Opera. Oh, sorry.
So yes. Yes.
So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, that's a
Phantom of the Opera. I first saw it when I was like in 7th or 8th grade, hated it. And then like I started to appreciate art. And so I saw Phantom right after I graduated high school on stage and loved it. So like going back, like I do enjoy the movie.
I've got to go way back. As in high school, I knew you were supposed to like Citizen Kane, and I watched it many times back on this thing called VHS, and finally, maybe in early 30s, I finally came around to understand it and say, okay, this is why this is so important.
I'm trying to think of like
The Tourist with Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie.
I wasn't bad.
I saw it once,
It-
and I really liked it.
I was so furious about the way that movie ended.
I
And
saw
then-
it coming the entire time.
Oh, I thought the premise was so stupid they wouldn't actually do it, and then they did it.
Could you remind me? I saw the movie, and it's been out a long time. so I'm
Yeah.
not
Okay.
gonna spoil it.
So yeah. Okay.
Spoilers.
I just don't want anyone to watch this movie. No.
You say you don't want anyone to watch it?
Right.
performing a
it's-
public service.
I do. Like, I appreciate it now,
okay.
but it's like, I still don't want anyone to go through the same thing. Like, I just...
You're protecting people
I'm protecting
from
the
mayhem
people. I'm protecting
of your
people.
journey with them.
Of my journey. It's very selfish. So
why don't you just tell them why they should appreciate it when they first watch it?
you should... Okay, I think you should appreciate it for the twist. I just think it's just so... Okay.
Well, the twist is like there the entire time,
It is. It's just...
and you're like, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Is it not
No,
gonna happen?
I thought I wanted the movie to just go on without. I wanted the Alexander Pierce character to just not exist and to not like come into play at all. Like he was just like this straw man that was built up, and then you don't actually see him in the movie.
That would have been cool too.
That's what I thought I was going with, and the fact that I don't know if it's the fact that I was wrong about it, but okay. So another part of the reason I don't like it is Angelina Jolie is just stock beautiful woman who doesn't do anything important, which I hate that being a role. But so Johnny Depp is this math teacher from Wisconsin who's traveling Europe. Angelina Jolie is on the run from some people because she's in contact with this guy named Alexander
Not just
Pierce.
any people, like the largest criminal hunting organization in Europe,
Well,
Interpol.
Yes. So Interpol's after her. So she like hangs out with Johnny Depp and is like, I'm gonna make them think that you're Alexander Pierce to get them off my trail. And so he gets embroiled in this whole like spy crime controversy thing, and then at the the joke is that you're not Alexander Pierce, but no, it's just people think that I am. And then the end of the movie is, oh yeah, I'm actually Alexander Pierce. I just did a ridiculous amount of plastic surgery and got my voice changed and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, really? Really? We were making a joke about this the whole movie, and that's what actually was this. Okay.
You know, in my case, I don't like to watch movies more than once. So I don't know if I can say that there's a movie that's grown on me that I appreciate more, because it seems to me like almost a waste of time. I've already seen it. I know what's happening, so I don't want to. I just want to see new stuff. What did I miss? What?
They're talking about me on there.
Oh no!
And the person goes, it's really funny to watch them read the comments.
Well, you guys missed the one that Paul's like. It's like a podcast. This is okay. Cupid profile.
I'm gonna guess Senator.
And to bring you back up to speed, they now have a $5 bet on what your zodiac sign is. So if you can settle that for them.
Well, first of all, that whole stuff is bogus garbage crap.
I'm actually a professor of astrology at Concordia University.
So, dude. Well, what is it? Are you gonna say? I mean, do you even know what it is?
It's Gemini, but it means nothing.
Right. And just the fact that people would think that the stars in the sky can predict your future. What is
Yeah.
it? I mean,
I listened to a Irish comedian talk about this once. He says that if you want a way to clunkily arbitrarily group people to make predictions about them, racism is better than astrology. Because there are 12 astrological signs?
Good night, folks. This has been the Dresch.
But if you break down people by their ethnicities, you get far more groups, and so you're more accurate. But grouping people by
Racism.
So look up Dara O'Brien. Racism is way better than astrology. I'm not saying either of them are good things, but if you want a clunky way to group
type that in
people,
my Google. Shit.
I'm Libra, by the
Films
way.
that
it's
took
actually
a while.
really funny.
Films that took a while. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind for me, because at the time when that film came out, I was used to Jim Carrey doing silly roles. I mean, he'd already done Truman Show at that point, but that was another one that took me a while to. I had to get a little older to appreciate that one. So that was anytime Jim Carrey did a serious role at that point, I was like, oh, not quite ready for that yet.
I was a little mad at Jim Carrey when I loved the first Kick-Ass movie. Never saw the second one.
He boycotted promoting
He
it.
trashed it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's in this movie, he's making all this money, and then he trashes it afterwards because he says it's too violent, or something like that, right? He just said it was over the top. But then why, he's... To me, it was really selfish because all these other people who are in this movie and put their lives or whatever into it, and then he's just trashing it for everybody else. And he made his money, right? He probably already made his paycheck off of it, other than
he did
whatever
a film.
royalties might be. So, I'm a
He
big...
said he changed his opinion because after a school shooting happened, I'm just like, there had already been multiple school shootings before that point.
Right,
Like,
right.
I don't know why.
And I never saw... Did anybody see Kick-Ass too?
I thought it was good.
Did you?
I thought it was great, yeah.
Okay.
Not as good as the first, but it was still
Right.
enjoyable.
I loved the first one.
Yeah,
it was
first-
so different. And
Nicolas
I
Cage was
thought-
great in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
Nicolas
What
Cage
did
is
he
great
played
as every
Batman,
movie.
right? Or the Batman...
Batgirl's dad.
That's right. That's
Or
right.
Kick-Ass Girl's... Or no. What's her name? Hit Girl's dad.
Yep.
Now,
Hit Girl.
this might be
Yeah.
an unpopular opinion. Nicolas Cage, I kind of like him. Woo! Did you see him? Did you see Mandy?
Not
you
yet.
seen Mandy?
Not yet. The thing I was going to bring this up because Nicolas Cage is my favorite actor. There is not a single actor I love more than Nicolas Cage.
Oh, wow.
And I was going to say movies that took me a while to appreciate, The Wicker Man, because I loved it the first
Oh,
time.
that one I did not like.
Oh, but
no.
Is that the bees one?
The bees.
Oh no, the bees! The bees!
That's not even the best line in the movie. Best line in the movie is when he gets onto the island and there's the bag dripping with blood.
You say this like I know the film.
Okay, no, so he gets onto an island, and there's these gruff islanders that are carrying this burlap sack, and it's just dripping blood. So Nick Cage goes, like, he's a police officer, or like cop, and he goes up and goes, "What's in the bag, shark or something?" And then he, like, they don't answer, so then he gets really serious, and he starts to inspect the bag, and they, like, shake it at him, and he's like, and then he just walks away.
I think you'd like Mandy. The first say half hour, 45 minutes is pretty slow, but boy, once it gets going, it's... Anybody else seen it?
I need to see it.
It's like, it's just a below the radar kind of movie.
I really need to see Army of One, which is a movie where based on a real story, where a guy from like Colorado got in his head that he was hearing from God that he needed to go on a quest to find Osama bin Laden, and so he tries to go to the Middle East, and Nicolas Cage plays this guy. I just imagine it's Cage at his cagiest.
Yeah.
Oh, another one that took me a while to appreciate, Raising Arizona.
Oh, I love that
That
one the first
one.
time.
I hated that
Yeah.
one.
Really?
You still hate it, or like?
I've only seen it once because it was so bad.
I love
That would be
it.
another topic. Was what movies did you like before but hate now, or just hated the first time? But
Yeah.
I watched Airplane with I used to love Airplane.
I still do.
And I watched it again with my wife like a couple months ago, and it was like, oh, it's
You have to watch certain movies with the right people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And
Love Airplane.
Airplane
and I
2
would-
is great too.
And I would
I haven't seen
say,
it.
well, one of the things was in 1980 I was still in college, and at that time I wasn't getting drug tested for anything, so that might have been altered a little bit. So I haven't. By the way, I haven't done drugs in a long time, but that helped, I think, in the movie. So.
I think any other.
That
That was
ran
the
its
last.
course.
Okay.
That-
That one, right? Okay. Did you do the last one?
did I? Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, are we gonna pass that around? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's
Alex,
do that.
You do the honors.
Let's get a good shake here.
This is an unprecedented.
Is that all right
move.
though? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
I've
want
never done this on the show
to
before.
step on your toes.
God help us all.
Anarchy! Anarchy! Whoop. Some fell off.
Well, this is the one I want.
This is why we
Do I
don't
get to
let
read it?
The
Yeah,
system is
read it.
breaking down already.
Okay. When there are days when you don't have the energy to perform, whether teaching, acting, etc., how do you power through it?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I take all the emphasis off of myself because I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing it for the audience. I'm doing it for my co-stars. So like I guess my part of my pregame ritual is just going around and I go to every individual actor that I have a scene with and I go, I'm gonna make you look good tonight. And so I take it off of myself and I just give everything that I have to all the other people around me and I make it about them.
Liquid courage. I'm just kidding. Energy drinks, actually. If I'm like...
I've never had one. Is that the truth, though? Is you take those?
Drink them sometimes,
Okay.
especially at work.
I've never had one.
If it's performance, I don't really drink anything at all,
Yeah.
except like I'll have a Coca-Cola or
Sure.
something. But there's days where I still have energy, I find a way to just talk myself like, okay, this is going to be fun. Don't worry about it. Just, like Ryan said, just kind of commit to that thing and just...
Do the thing.
Do the thing. Yeah.
Alex?
I don't have too many with like theater performing, trying to get the energy up because I do like theater. Actually, when I was doing shows at the Old Town Dinner Theater, you do them for like 5 weeks.
Oh, sure.
And so you are like just sick of the show sometimes. Like I did Arsenic and Lace, I never got sick of that one. But the first show I did down there, Curious Savage, good show, the run got so long that I was just kind of like tired of doing it, and so I just imagined the girl I had a crush on at the time in the audience. So like trying to perform well for that person.
That's good.
Another thing I'll do with like if I want to go read poetry, or there's a poetry open mic and I don't really want to go, I like remind myself of like why I do go to those things and like because I have poetry books available on Amazon. And so it's like one of those things like just put myself out there. I actually do like doing it, and so it's just one of those things where I have to remind myself why I'm doing it.
I'm kind of like you when you said because you enjoy it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say I don't feel like I've worked a day in my life because I'm doing what I've wanted to do since I was a kid. So I've never. It sounds cheesy, but I don't think I've ever had a day where I've. Oh my God! I gotta work. No, there was a 3-year stretch where I had a boss that was pretty bad. But other than that, I've never had a day where I said I don't want to do this because I get to draw maps on computers. I get to play with computers and talk on TV.
Yeah.
That's my job. How could I not want to do that? What's so
Right.
hard about that? So I've never. I drink coffee. I drink coffee at work but I've never had a day where I did not want to go to work.
Yeah, I'm with Phil. I love what I do, and even when I'm having a bad day, usually it's being in the classroom will pick me up.
Sure. Yeah.
But our students pay so much. I really can't. I don't. There's no luxury. I have to be on all the time. I feel this real obligation to be on. You can't have a bad day in class.
Mm-hmm. No.
But if it's really bad, I might belt out 20 push-ups before I go in if I'm feeling really low or something, and then
Seriously?
that'll do it.
I find too, like if I'm not feeling good, not mentally, not wanting to go to work, but if for some reason I just feel a little down or tired, going to the gym helps. It really does. Exercising helps a lot. So, yeah.
Or drink. I just drink a lot.
Before class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Belt those back.
That's sarcasm. I know.
For stand-up, it's also really interesting because there's like 2 different types of nights. There's open mic nights, so it's kind of like some nights you're kind of just like, oh, I'm not really feeling that great, but then going on stage helps push you up a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you don't have anything new prepared, then it's not as exciting. That's why I always try to bring something new each week instead of just the same old.
Because that's your rehearsal ground.
Yeah,
really, your
exactly.
open mics.
Yeah. That's where you try the new stuff, and if the new stuff doesn't work, I give it a 5-night rule. Where if it doesn't work it doesn't work 5 times, the joke doesn't work 5 times, I throw it out.
It's not gonna work.
No,
Yeah.
it's never gonna work. It's like the first night, maybe it was just the crowd, that one guy.
All right, my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, I think everybody's answered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just take one right off the top. What motivates you to continue creating art? I don't do art, I guess, so I'll give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Sure, we kind of already talked about
and
it.
that was
Yeah.
very similar to the last
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
Okay. biggest flub you've ever experienced on stage or TV.
Oh, yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
we got
yes.
one.
Yes. Yes.
I'll get to you since
Oh,
you're
thanks.
next. Well, since I did the question, I guess probably. I mean, I guess as far as forecasting goes, the one that's just the top of my mind right now is I think it was 3 weeks ago today. We had like 3 inches of snow, and that came out of nowhere. And it's like, how am I gonna? So I went on social media. I'm like, okay, guys, I screwed this up. Don't worry, it's gonna go away. It's gonna melt. This is just a brief little setback. So that's what comes to mind right now. Is a flub as far as forecasting goes. And then there's been a couple times where I've dropped my clicker during the weather, and I have to bend down and pick it up.
There was one night I was working.
Oh.
Remember the shit and miss showers?
What?
I think it was just a promo. I don't think it was live.
Oh, okay.
You were talking about. You meant to say hit and miss showers. You said shit and miss showers. And then after you record, maybe it was live. I don't remember. It was a promo.
Yeah. Okay.
And then after it was done, you go, "Did I just say shit and miss showers?" And then I think Mike, or maybe it said, yeah, I think that's what you said.
Wow.
Then you said, oh, and you just walked on.
Keeping it.
Well, there's one time I did say Orange City, Iowa. Oh. Not on purpose. Orange City's a fine town, but it just came out that way. But you just keep going. You think, God, I hope nobody heard that I said that. Yeah. And then I asked. I think Brian Allen was anchoring. I said, "Did you hear me say?" He said, "Yeah, it sounded like Orange Shitty." So,
it's like not intentional, just how it slips out. Yeah.
I love going on YouTube and watching news bloopers.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they are fun. We usually see those like at, and a lot of times they happen during promos and things that don't ever air. And so there'll be like a gag reel that we'll do like at Christmas parties and stuff. But yeah, they are fun.
Yeah. And I remember later that night you filmed a promo as a joke and you said, "Gonna be a real shitty weekend." It was fun. That one didn't air.
How long were you at KSFY?
2 months.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't get fired. Is that when you went to Badlands?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just kind of like I didn't think I was really cut out for technical stuff like that.
Okay.
I tried it, gave it my best.
It's another one of those things where you just
keep throwing darts at the dartboard.
Well, it's just one of those things too. If you didn't think you were good at it, you would get better at it. But maybe there's nowhere else you were gonna be able to go from there. I mean, as far as if you're running camera or whatever.
Plus, it was being there at nights, and I would have stuff going on at nights, and that was also a kind of a conflict thing. Yeah. So it was just like, plus my Hy-Vee schedule was all over the place at the time too. So I was getting like 4-hour increments of sleep.
Did I used to see you at Hy-Vee? I did. Which Hy-Vee were you at?
37th Minnesota. Still,
I didn't go to that one very often.
No.
Okay.
But I was also messing with my sleep schedule, so I was like, it was just a little off.
Yeah.
So it was still a rewarding experience, but it was just something I'm like, I am not great at technical things sometimes. So I was just kind of, I realized that.
Yeah. Well,
still had a blast, but it was
Flubs.
No, go ahead.
Okay. When I did Arsenic and Old Lace at the Old Town Dinner Theater, I was playing Mortimer Brewster, and with Old Town and doing the show that many times, you get a wide range of audiences. Mm-hmm. The other thing that's really nice about Old Town is they can drink alcohol during the show, and for like an hour or two before the show. Mm-hmm. So there was one night where there are nights where the crowd is having a good time. And it's not always you. But there was one night where we were just killing it. All the jokes were landing and landing well. And there's a line that's very funny that's in the movie version of Arsenic and the Lace that's not in the script for the stage play. And because we were having such a good night, I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw it in there. And I threw it in there. And they started laughing. And when you hold for laughs in theater, you wait for it to peak, and then when it starts to go down, that's when you come in with your other line. I thought it was going to peak, and then it popped up again.
Really?
And would keep going up, and it wouldn't stop.
Wow. Oh, no.
And laughter's contagious.
Oh, right.
And the Old Town stage is quite small. And the door I came in is like right at the front of the stage. And I'm looking at my character's brother, who's a scary guy, so I'm protecting my girlfriend behind me, so I can't go anywhere to hide my laughter. So I'm at the front of the stage, like, breaking character.
Yeah.
And they, of course, see that, which makes them laugh more.
Right.
I've done a lot of flubs at Old Town. In that same show, different performance, I slammed a door as I was chasing an old guy off stage because he was about to get killed. I slammed the door, and immediately I go, nope, slammed it too hard. And I had to leave like 2 lines later. And sure as enough, I went up to the door, and it wouldn't open because I had broken it. So I had to like make believe there was a back door through the kitchen, but yeah. Luckily, there was a kitchen, otherwise I'd have been stuck on stage.
Well, just because speaking of breaking character, and we were talking about Leslie Jones, that's another thing about Leslie. She always laughs, always breaks characters. Like, that's a little... It happens every time. Anyway, go ahead.
My third flub I think of from Old Town was me trying to make someone break. There's a gal who does a lot of shows down there, her name is Phyllis, and she does not break character. And so, like, we had one show where we had to improvise small talk as we were leaving a dining room into the living room where the show took place. And so people would say things, oh, lovely meal, lovely meal. And I would say stuff to try and make her break. I would say stuff like, oh, it was a very nice poo-poo platter with those nice shiitake mushrooms. And I love cats, they taste great, those sorts of things. One night I had one that I thought for sure would get her. And I wanted to make sure I was right up close to her because she's hard of hearing, and I was going to say it loud enough for her to hear it. But I waited a little too long, and everyone else stopped talking much sooner than they usually did. So, like, 2/3 of the audience heard me go, I guess it's true what they say about bald eagle. It really does taste like freedom.
Everybody heard that, huh?
2/3 of the audience heard it, just roaring. I get off stage and everybody else is like, damn it, Alex! Because they were all fighting back laughter for the rest of the scene. And it was at the beginning of the scene when I said that.
You must have some, Zach.
I had one. I had a stand-up one
That's what
where
I
I messed up the wording of the joke. I remember this. This joke, it's a groanie that it's like a terrible one-liner I tell on stage. One night I said, the joke is, why does the lesbian shop at Shields? Because she doesn't like dicks. And I accidentally said the punchline as because she likes dicks. And then I pause and go, oh, that's not the And then the audience laughs and then I save it and go, she's bisexual.
Oh, funny.
And then it got a bigger laugh. I'm like, saved it.
Yeah.
So I saved.
I thought you were going to talk about why does the group of crows commit murder?
Oh.
That was one that you...
Just cause. How did I mess that one up?
I don't
was that the night where I left stage because I messed up the joke?
Yeah.
Oh.
You were so upset.
Yeah, I messed up the wording of the joke, and I didn't feel like retaliating and saving it by telling a better joke, so I just said, that's enough for me, I'm getting off stage right now.
Wow.
I was, and then I sat down like a little brat.
Where was this?
At Boss's, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That was a rough night. And then the next night at Wacko's, I walked up on stage and opened with that joke. See, like, I acknowledged, like, yeah, last night was bad. This is better. But yeah, that was a fun night.
I'm sure I've told this story before on here, but when I was doing the Glass Menagerie up at Corson, there was a scene where I'm supposed to grab my coat off the coat rack, and then I turn left into the wall, and so I like take my jacket and I slam it into the Glass Menagerie, and I break some of the stuff. Well, it just kind of like knocks against the wall, so it doesn't break. And one night it threw me off because there was a purse that was on my coat that had never been there before. So I'm like, great, now I need to like pull extra hard so I can pull the purse. Well, I did that, except instead of turning to the left and throwing my coat into the wall, I did a complete 180, and I ended up taking my coat, and it caught a porcelain owl off of the table, and I chucked it straight into the first row, and I took off like basically half the table, and this porcelain pheasant broke and shattered across the ground. So I've got stuff flying all over, and I was legitimately mortified. I've never been that just Ryan as a person. I was just standing like. So I get off stage and I'm like, it's on the ground. it's in the audience on the ground.
Did it hit anybody or hurt somebody?
Oh yeah, no, it went right into like an old lady's lap.
Oh wow.
But it was like that was the night I just flung stuff off stage into the audience.
Well, Kevin, we haven't heard from you yet.
Yeah, I'd need a long time to tell this, but in 1999, I had my first job interview for a professor in Mississippi, and 10 minutes into my guest lecture, I fainted.
Oh!
In front of about 45 people.
Did you get the job?
You know what? 7 of the 9 people in the English faculty voted for me. The 2
Wow.
who didn't were the chair and an aspiring dean.
Oh, so no.
So no, I didn't.
Wow. So what?
Yeah.
Did you get back up and finish your deal, or what?
No, I was down for the count.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
When I woke up, my head was in the lap of an English professor, and she was looking down at me. I was looking up, and I said, "Please don't tell me I fainted." She said,
Never happened before?
You died. That's
Never
just-
happened before?
"No, never.
Never again?
No.
Wow.
No, it's a long story. Like I said, it involves heat and
Oh,
nervousness,
yeah.
and not getting anything to eat, and so forth and so on. But
Mississippi, it gets a little
yeah.
hot and sticky down there.
yeah, and nerves. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my biggest flub ever.
Do we have time for one more question? Or
Should we do one
We
more?
have one more, and then we're going to do shameless plugs.
Cool. Yeah, awesome.
it's your turn?
I feel honored. What's your best I almost crapped myself story?
So this is almost.
Yeah.
Because I have an actual.
Yeah, let's do it. Yes, absolutely yes.
Is that what we mean? Like really, literally?
I take it how you want. I think.
I got one. Go ahead.
You've taken my podcasting to new heights.
So are we doing almost or?
You can do your actual one. 'Cause that's gonna be
Interchangeable.
great.
Okay, let's do my actual one. So I went number 2 in a toilet, and it was one of those number 2s where you go, you know what? This is gonna happen again, and soon. And this could be a pattern for the rest of the evening. So what I decided to do, because I hadn't taken my dog for a walk yet that day, I was like, you know what? We're just gonna go get this out of the way, and I can come back and then just be poopy for the rest of the night. So our walk takes us down the street, kind of along a park, and then a bike path into a cul-de-sac, onto another street, and that hooks up with the main street and comes back. And I get about halfway on my path, and I think, okay, it's coming, but I'm halfway, so I was like, might as well just keep going, because if I turn around, it's the same amount of distance. So I keep going, come around the circle, and then I get back to where the houses start up again after the park, and I think, it is time to run.
Which sometimes doesn't help.
When it's that bad, you're not thinking clearly. So my dog and I take off sprinting, and my dog, like, once you start running, he starts going as fast as he can. But of course, I was going as fast as I can, so it kind of worked out. So we're running, and I get to the driveway of the next door neighbor's house, and it starts. And so I run inside, I get inside, I just drop my dog's leash. So my mom hears me run in and go directly into the half bath. And then she hears my dog's leash, like, bouncing around. And so I finish in the toilet, but, I mean, it's all on my legs, and some of it's on the floor.
Oh,
no!
And then I eventually just have to go, Mom! Something happened! And she looks in and goes, yeah, I figured something happened when I heard Charlie wandering around without his leash taken off.
Oh, man.
She saved those shorts. We threw away the underwear, but the shorts were those plaid shorts that were really in at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was able to save the shorts, and I wore them for a couple years after that.
Wow, that's quite the story.
So there's a sequel to that story.
Oh no!
This same situation happens to me again. I'm walking my dog, and the urge to go hits me. And I'm like, nope, not gonna happen again. And I happen to know one of my high school classmates, his parents live, or his family, because we were still in high school at the time. So I was like, oh, I'll go to this guy's house. So I ring their doorbell, and his dad's like, hey, what's up? I was like, we're out for a walk, and I really have to go to the bathroom. Do you mind if I use your toilet? And he's like, oh, yeah. And then he starts apologizing to me because they're remodeling that bathroom. And I'm like, dude, if you knew what I was about to do to your bathroom, you wouldn't be apologizing. So 20 minutes later, I leave his bathroom, and he's out in the front yard with my dog. He's like, thank you so much, sorry. And I just leave as fast as I can. And then my mom always, wanted me to talk at the family dinner table. So I told him that story, and she was mortified.
You told that story at dinner time?
I think we had finished eating by that point.
Okay.
But she was mortified because the mother of this family adored my older sister and wanted her to marry her son, who was my age. And so mom is just mortified that this happened in their house.
Man. Wow.
But yeah.
I have one that happened last week. At Hy-Vee. I was it's one of those shifts. It's early in the morning, 8 o'clock.
Say shifts or shits?
Shit shifts. I was
Clean up on aisle 3.
Yeah. Is this Kahlua or shit? Sorry.
There's not much difference.
What's the difference? Anyways,
Not a Kahlua fan.
yeah.
Anymore.
Honey, we need to throw away all the Kahlua.
It was 8 a.m. I'm by myself. I just opened up Wine and Spirits, and I hadn't. It was one of those mornings I was just running out the door. I hadn't taken the time to get ready more proper. I was just tired. I'm like, whatever. I didn't taking care of business at home, and so I'm trying. It's Sunday. It was a Sunday morning. It's backstock day where you just run the wine around and see what can fit on the shelf and all this stuff. And so I'm trying to run wine around, and my stomach just keeps attacking. Like you have to go now. But I'm by myself for the first hour without any coworkers, so I can't leave the department.
Oh.
And it's kind of embarrassing to page front end of Wine and Spirits, please. While I can't. How do you explain to the manager?
Right.
I need to go poo poo. And so
Exactly like that.
right. I need to go poo poo. Thanks, Nate. So I'm just I'm trying to be tough. I'm just trying to I can run stuff around. Every time I run a bottle, I'm like, oh. And so we have a little stool that you can sit on by the computer. Stool. I'm sorry. Stool. Totally didn't mean to throw that punch. So funny enough, sitting on the stool to balance everything out.
Yes.
I would take 5-minute increments to
That is the
gain
worst way you
control.
could sit on that stool.
It was more so I would spend 5 minutes get it together, and then okay, back to running the wine.
Yes.
And then I'd run 2 or 3 bottles, and I'd go back to the stool, and so it would just constantly be that process for the first hour by myself. And then my coworker comes, and I just bolt out the door.
So you made it? You made it?
Yeah, I made it. No problem.
You know what?
But,
You know? Have you ever heard of the word peristalsis? You know what that is? That's your body's way of. It starts at your mouth and ends where everything comes out.
Uh-huh.
It's your body's way of pushing your food, whatever you eat, through all the way down. And peristalsis happens every. You know, that's why the feeling comes back every 5 minutes or something. So
Yeah.
you think you're okay. I held it in, and I think everything's gonna be good now. And then peristalsis kicks in, and it starts trying to come out again. So that's what you're
That's
experiencing.
what it was.
Peristalsis, yes.
you're fine, and then
Yes. I don't know.
Did you think you'd be talking about this evening?
No. I had an experience where there are certain things that I have to remember what I eat, because there are certain things that affect me, and I got to go right now.
Yeah.
And that happened before the Paul Simon concert last year when he was at Denver.
Oh.
He was really good, by the way. I've loved him since the 70s and whatever.
Yeah.
We were eating at I don't want to say the restaurant because they might, it wasn't anything their fault, but I went to their bathroom and somebody was in there and there was only one stall. So then I go to an adjoining store and I look in and it was locked. It was closed. And so I didn't think, and I'm walking back. I didn't think I was going to make it. And I finally, when I went back to the restaurant that we were there, that everything started, the person had just left, and it was like that close. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's do 3 words. 2001, South Korea, cholera.
Oh.
So,
You were in Korea. I was in Korea for 2 years. What were you doing there?
Guest visiting professor.
Where at?
Handong University on the southeast coast.
Oh wow. Okay.
Just north of Pohang.
So is that by Busan?
Yeah.
Southeast?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I lived in. My dad was in the military. I graduated from high school in Korea in Seoul at Yongsan. It was Seoul American High School. So I was there for 2 years. It was 1977 to 1979. So Do you like kimchi?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah. I love everything Korean
Me too.
except cholera.
Yeah.
Cholera.
What's how much time we got?
It's
Whatever.
podcasting. We can go as long as
What's the
it
most
has.
exotic thing? What's the most exotic thing you ate while you were there?
Live octopus.
Oh, I didn't have live octopus, but I had octopus legs. It was a dish. It's kind of like calamari, but a little different. And the little sucker things are still on there. You see it. Well, obviously for you if you ate it live, but I had this dish called nakji bogum, and it was like really hot, spicy octopus legs. So it's funny.
Yeah.
Octopus.
I don't have a story myself, thankfully yet. But I do have a story from when I was working this summer. They had just given me this new guy to work with to train him up on painting, and he was a little bit of an older guy. He was in his 30s, and I was up working on the roof, and he comes up onto the deck and he goes, "Hey Ryan, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a few minutes." I was like, "Okay, sure." Thinking he would just go knock on the homeowner's door and ask to use the bathroom. Some people are a little weird about that. Right. So so about 15 minutes goes by and he's still not back. Okay. So then I have to get down off the roof for a second. It's about 20-25 minutes and he's still not back. I peek around the corner, his car's gone. Okay, maybe he went to the gas station, nearest one's like 10 minutes away. Things take some time, he'll be back. So I get back up on the roof. I text him to see, like, "Hey, are you coming? Are you okay?" It's about 45 minutes, he's been gone. So I get down off the roof. It's a full hour now, and he's back. And I see that he's wearing jeans, and he was wearing white painter's pants before. And and I was like, "Hey, is everything all right?" And he goes, I didn't know how to tell you this, but I shit myself." And he goes, I didn't know how to tell you, so I called Tim. Tim is my boss. And he said, "Just say to go to the bathroom and you'll be right back." So I'm like, "Hold up. You felt more comfortable telling my boss, giving him a phone call, than just telling me what had happened." That was the confusing thing. The best part of that story is we continued on the rest of the day, and then the very next day, he showed up for a half day at work, and then he was just gone. We never heard from him again.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was just that embarrassing of a moment. He's like, "I can't show my face again."
But, and I don't know. It's something everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Everybody does, but it's just something about it. It's just so embarrassing, and
Yeah.
you don't want to talk about it. Although we've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes or whatever, but it's just one of those things that nobody wants to. You shouldn't really talk about, but everybody does, and it's just like weird that way. I think
It's like one of the most human stories you could possibly tell.
Right.
But that just it happens to everyone.
And I just can't imagine being like a first responder or. Because when you die, you lose control of everything.
Yeah.
And so you have to deal with that, and then people who work in, well, just yeah.
Yeah.
I just have so much respect for people like that who can do that, and yeah.
Robert, do you have a story?
I honestly, I don't really, other than I'll kind of copy what you did with the Korea one, where Playa del Carmen, norovirus. Oh my God! It was literally like on the floor of a hotel bathroom, like begging God to just kill me. Please kill me.
That's Mexico.
Yeah.
Boy, this conversation really went down it.
down the
drain, yeah.
Down the drain. Okay.
Somebody had to say it.
Shameless
I mean,
plugs.
forgive me, it was a crappy joke, but
Jesus.
I wore
That's a groaner.
I wore the poop emoji outfit last week during
You did.
stand-up on
Yes.
stage. And
How'd that go over?
It was great. I went up on stage and said, "I'm Justin Bieber."
That's good.
That's proud of that. And my costume had a fan inside the costume. It was inflatable,
Right.
so you could just hear the fan and me talking over it. The fan was pretty loud. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a weird show. So, but it was good. So, last part of the show we do shameless plugs.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you have things you'd like to promote, we go around and say what we want to plug and talk briefly about that. So, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I just founded a business, Reset ADHD. I'm an ADHD coach, help people with ADHD, kind of identify their strengths and use those things to overcome their weaknesses. I've also written books and stuff, poetry, whatnot. Go to Amazon, search Alex R. Hey, H-E-Y, spelled like hay, pronounced high. Blame the Germans on that one. Yeah, books, my business.
Wow.
I think that's about it, yeah.
Plus, you're single now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was your phone number for all our fans?
Gemini.
I don't really have anything to plug other than just watch KSFY, I guess. That's all I got.
Mondays to Fridays, 5, 6,
6,
and 10.
and 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Watch the morning show, too, with Sean and Cammie.
Yeah.
5 a.m. That's early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday, November 15th, 7:30, Monstrous Little Theater Company. I was doing a staged reading of my most recent play, Loving Arms. Not a pick-me-up in case you're thinking about bringing a date. I guess.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, we're super thrilled to do Dr. Cole's work. It's such a beautiful and timely piece about the state of our nation, and really takes a look at our current situation through the lens of classic art, which I think is something that we can always learn from. So yeah, Monstrous Little Theater Company is doing a reading of that at the Full Circle Book Co-op Thursday, November 15th. At 7:30. With our stage readings, they're always free admission, but we do accept donations and stuff of that sort. And I'll probably have more come along down the pipe when we get closer to January is when our next show would be.
Can I plug some more? I got invited to read poetry with this guy and some other people, and we have poetry readings on November 16th at the Old Market in Brookings, 17th of November at Take 16 in Laverne, and then December 8th at a used bookstore in Watertown.
Nice.
Cool.
And since you mentioned the state of our nation, I guess the thing I want to plug is not a shameless plug, is get out and vote.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, not only get out and vote, but inform yourself about what you're voting for. That is the most important thing. Don't just blindly go to the polls because people tell you to. Don't just vote for a name that you recognize. Get out, take the time to learn about the issues that are going to affect our community and here and at large.
Affect or infect?
Both.
Okay.
We got the flu bug here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
infect.
going to be an issue.
But yeah,
Look at my billboards.
admire
Should
them.
be saying is get a flu shot.
Get a
Spread
flu
the
shot.
flu
How does
as much
that-
as you can.
By the way, just real quick, how does that work? I mean, do you get royalties? I mean, from
No.
yeah, I was gonna say,
No,
because how
I-
do they know how many people drive by and see it? And I don't know.
I think I just get paid for doing photo shoots,
Right.
commercials, and some public
Sure,
appearances.
okay.
Other than that, it's
Okay.
no
You
royalties.
do public appearances dressed up and.
Did Zubu last
Oh,
week at the
nice.
zoo.
Do you do your own makeup?
No, that was just regular. I just showed up.
Oh.
Yeah.
They just know you're the flu bug.
Yep, the hair and
Oh, yeah,
and the
okay.
sweatshirt.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
sweatshirt,
gotcha,
sweatpants
okay.
is pretty much.
Okay.
You could add some stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm not makeup savvy,
Right,
so I don't
right.
really.
Okay.
In addition to the flu bug billboards and stuff, I'll be in Fargo at Fargo Brewing Company
Wow.
this coming Saturday.
Exciting.
Very excited
Nice.
with Dan Bublitz, Skylar Bulks, and a couple, 3 fantastic Fargo comics. Mitch Ryerson is great. Jan Severson. I'm blanking on the third, but they're all fantastic. Very excited. So if you're in the Fargo area and you're watching or listening to this, come to the show. Or if you're in Sioux Falls and you want a road trip with me, I can only take 4. And probably one of the 2 other comics is going to carpool, so maybe 2 spots. So it's gonna be fun. Yeah, Robert.
I always have shameless plugs, of course. Be sure to get all of your local podcast goodness over at thesueempire.com. Let's see. We've got a lot of crazy stuff going on. Our live episode, we recorded a supercon of Macabre Grimoire, our paranormal investigation podcast, is coming up, and I'm super pumped for that one. That's where we had the guy from Travel Channel's Ghost Mine actually showed up and participated in our panel, so that was pretty badass. I have been writing my ass off for Edge Case, my sci-fi paranormal anthology podcast coming in 2019. And I'm fucking loving it. I haven't written this much in like a decade, and awesome. I've pumped out like 3 scripts, and I've had 5 local people submit scripts for it. And yeah, so it's coming together a lot faster than I thought it was going to. So we will probably be looking at casting sometime in January to February 2019. So nice. Be sure to stay tuned for updates on that. And once again, we're still hunting for a local composer. I have a lot of fantastic candidates, but we're not making a final decision until next week. So if you've got a portfolio of music you want to show off and you want a paid composer gig here in Sioux Falls, hop on that. And then we're still taking submissions on screenplay, radio play scripts. So, awesome. Yeah, be sure to check all that out.
Super
I think
cool.
that's everything.
Awesome. Well, Alex, Phil, Kevin, thank you guys so much for being here. This was an awesome episode. And Ryan, Robert, as always, it's been a pleasure. Episode 15, so I'm very excited. Next episode, sometime probably later this month. We'll figure it out. I'll keep you updated on the Facebooks. I don't know why I said it like that.
The Book of Faces.
Book of Faces and the tweets and the Instagrammies and
and the YouTubes and the Zimas.
The YouTubes and the Snippy Chatties. I don't know why I'm saying this stuff. Anyways, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys. And as always, you've been listening to the
Trash
Code.